Are you serious? Are you serious? Here we go. You guys aren't going to cut me a break, are you? Are you serious? We're live. I'm here in San Diego, California, and of course we have two mega earthquakes that have just hit. One, a 7.3 mega earthquake, very powerful, and we're waiting on the information coming in right now from Venezuela. 7.3. Then, just 10 minutes ago, boom, here we go again. 6.7, 6.8, somewhere in there. Vanuatu just got rocked. Now, Vanuatu is a lot more shallower. The Venezuela earthquake is 123.2 kilometers deep, but it's right on the coast. There are tsunami concerns, but the same thing for Vanuatu. It is a 6.7 mega earthquake, but it's a lot more shallower. It's 30.3 kilometers right on the coast. There is definitely tsunami concerns. And also the thing about the Vanuatu quake is it's right next door to Fiji, where we've been having all these quakes, and it's right along the same fault line as Indonesia that had the 8.2. I mean, the 8.2 that was in Fiji and the 6.9 that was in Indonesia on Sunday. There were 5 mega quakes on Sunday. Yesterday it calmed down, just a lot of aftershocks. Today, boom, boom, we've been hit with 2 mega quakes. They're exactly 1 hour. They're 61 minutes apart. They're exactly 1 hour and 1 minute apart, and they have hit 7.3 Venezuela, 6.7 Vanuatu. I want to get to you now the latest on Venezuela because it's been just a little over an hour for Venezuela, and it is more deeper at 123 kilometers, but it's on the coast. There is concerns of tsunamis, also structural issues. So hang on. We're going to try to up to the minute here and find out what we have right now. So just give me a moment. We've been trying to. Here we go. Yes, powerful quake. An update now 4 minutes ago. Just got the latest powerful earthquake felt in Venezuela and in Trinidad. They felt this all the way into Trinidad. The 7.3 mega earthquake strikes the northern coast there of Venezuela. Also rocks Trinidad right on the coast. I mean, right, the epicenter right on the coastline, right on the beach. Tremors were felt 200 miles away. Tsunami concerns. Matter of fact, the United States Geological Survey recorded the earthquake in the coastal towns, and the tremors were felt 286 miles away from the capital of Caracas. The quake, which was centered near the town of Guerrilla, was felt as far away as the capital of Venezuela, which is in Caracas. I'm looking at actual videotape right now showing a semi-trailer bouncing up and down. Also, literally just bouncing up and down. And then there's the U.S. Geological Survey says that the magnitude earthquake in Venezuela was 7.3 with a depth of 76 miles or 123 kilometers. The epicenter was just 12 miles, right on, just barely on the coast, or just off the coast. The population of the affected region lives in areas where structures are very vulnerable. That's what I was worried about. The earthquake has been shaking for several minutes. Most vulnerable buildings are those made from unreinforced brick and wood. That means they will probably shake loose and collapse. A tsunami advisory has been issued for the entire Caribbean islands. Footage which emerged already on social media following the earthquake shows buildings being shaken heavily, people running and falling into the streets, and in Trinidad and Tobago, phone lines, power outages all over both of those island nations. There are reports of structural damage, buildings collapsing. A witness in Cumana, which is near the epicenter of the quake, said there were initial reports of several injuries at a shopping center as the escalator, Heidi, collapsed. Okay? That's what I'm trying to say. When I did the breaking news on that an hour ago, just a few minutes after it hit, I knew that in a nation like Venezuela, especially a coastal area there's very shabby building construction. And I'm not throwing off. Look, I've been to India. I know what it's like in some of these third world countries. They make their buildings out of mud bricks and then put concretes on the outside, no reinforcement in it. So if you have a 6.8 or a 7.3 or some kind of quake, it's going to shake these buildings apart. They're going to come apart. And so, a shopping mall, the escalator collapses. Also, people are trapped and injured. A population of affected region lives in the area where structures are very vulnerable, according to the earthquake shaking, according to U.S. Geological Survey. And firefighter Captain John Bonnet said there are no initial reports of injuries where he's at, but of course it's way too early to tell. Look, we know there's injuries, we know there's collapsed buildings, and it's not just in Venezuela, but they're in Trinidad and Tobago. Now that's the Venezuela quake. But folks, I went live to tell you about the Vanuatu quake, because in Vanuatu it's a 6.7 earthquake and a lot more shallower, and it's right along that coastal area where we've already had tons of earthquakes the last few days. Now on Sunday there were 5 earthquakes, 5 megaquakes on Sunday. 8.2 Fiji, 6.8 Fiji, 6.3 Fiji, 6.9 Indonesia, and 6.1 Indonesia. But they are all running on this one little fault line. Okay, so boom, 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 boom. This is what you had going on, all in a little tight spot. Well, guess what? This 6.7 earthquake that has just hit Vanuatu is right in the middle between Fiji and Indonesia's earthquakes. It's on the same fault line. So here you go again, 6.7 earthquake. Heidi, you got footage?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it shaking and quaking? Okay, so, and where's that at? Venezuela? Yeah, Venezuela is powerful. Venezuela's, you know what, this is a killer quake. It's probably what we got there. And that's not the only place we got one, okay? That's not the only place we got one, guys. We've got this 6.7 now in Vanuatu. And let me give you the latest on Vanuatu, because here's what they're saying. As that's right on the coast as well. This is pretty shallow, and it's a powerful 6.7 quake. So Vanuatu. Let's see what the update, the latest, right to the minute. Here we go. Okay, we get a little something coming out of our Reuters, maybe. All right, a magnitude 6.7 earthquake just struck north there, Vanuatu, in the Pacific Ocean, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. The shallow earthquake's epicenter was located just a few miles off the northern tip of the coast in a very sparsely populated island. That could be a good thing right there. We might escape Vanuatu, but what about the tsunamis potential here? And we do have tsunami warnings for Venezuela right now. Let's see. Okay, this stuff's happening so fast, happening very, very fast now. Give me 1 second. We'll give you right up to the moment. They are saying maybe there is no tsunami danger. I think we're going to be okay with this one, but we do have a tsunami warning for Venezuela. But it looks like Vanuatu might have escaped without a tsunami. At least there's no tsunami threat for New Zealand.
They have a thing here. It shows the T wave, they call it.
Yeah.
So in other words, the after effects traveled all the way as far north as Halifax.
Really?
Yeah.
New Zealand is reporting, their Civil Defense Authority says the above magnitude 6.7 earthquake in Vanuatu may be increased or decreased in its seismic data, but what we can say, there is no tsunami threat for New Zealand. That doesn't mean there's not a tsunami threat, but at least the New Zealanders are letting their people know, don't worry, there's no tsunami warning coming in their direction. That doesn't mean there won't be one. Now we have another report over here, 11 minutes ago, from Vanuatu's earthquake. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology reported the 6.7 earthquake struck in the Pacific Ocean just off the Pacific island nation of Vanuatu. There is no tsunami threat for the Philippines from this quake. So the Philippines are not going to get hit with the tsunami. New Zealand's not going to get hit. But what about Vanuatu, and what about some of the other island nations? Or what about Hawaii? What about Fiji? What about some of the others? We're still trying to figure this out. Here we go. There's another report here. Green earthquake alert, magnitude 6.7 earthquake, Vanuatu. There's about 86,000 people that live within 100 kilometers of the epicenter. That's not real sparse, if you ask me. I mean, I understand it's not a mega city, but still there's some people there. And they're saying that an Australian family, okay, no, that's a different report, but here's what they are saying about this one. Here we go. Let me get you the rest of the story. And it's loading right now. 1 second, please. Here we go. Yes, there is 86,000 people within the region. Vanuatu. There's concerns, of course, for Port Vila, some of these other smaller islands that are in that area. There could be, they could have some serious concerns from this quake, including tsunamis, but we are still waiting for we haven't got an all clear on that yet, so we're going to keep watching this closely. Obviously, it's pretty powerful. Now, so we've had a 7.3 earthquake that has rocked Venezuela, and there's buildings, we're hearing there is buildings collapsing. There's an escalator that's collapsed in a shopping center. There are injuries. There are buildings that have been shaken off their foundations. There are roofs that are caving. There are people running in the streets, falling under the shaking. It's not just Venezuela that's experiencing this catastrophic event, but it's also it's being felt very strongly in Trinidad and in Tobago. So there's a whole lot of shaking going on. Now, both quakes, the 7.3 earthquake that hit Venezuela is right on the coast. It's affecting the coast of Venezuela. They felt it all the way into Caracas, the capital, but it's really shaking, and there are buildings collapsing. There are the escalator of a shopping mall's collapsed. People have been injured. Folks are being hurt. We don't know the extent of the injuries or the extent of the number of buildings that may have collapsed or shifted off their foundations, or roofs may have came down. These are very shaky things that take place. And also, yeah, Steve just said he's in Australia. Steve says, hey guys, there's 1,200 of you here at YouTube. Everybody hit the like button if you would right now. We're live. I just went live in spontaneously. It's not a scheduled broadcast, so thank God for all of you who rushed over here to find out what's going on. 1,200 of you. If you'll hit the button right now, like, and push I like it, what you'll do is you'll drive the algorithms insane and start sending people our way, whether they want to or not. We do have a report, a catastrophic day for President Trump. Now, that's according to CNBC News. They are reporting, thank you, Heidi, catastrophic day for the president, as his former campaign boss, Paul Manafort, and his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, are now both felons. It's difficult to imagine a worse day for the president, but in New York, former Trump lawyer Michael Cohen has pleaded guilty in federal court to 8 felony counts of tax fraud, bank fraud, and campaign finance violations. We're not talking about Paul Manafort. We're talking about Michael Cohen, the president's lawyer. And then 300 miles south of there, a jury just found former Trump campaign chief Paul Manafort guilty of 8 unrelated felonies, 5 of which, 5 of those counts of felony tax fraud, 1 count of failing to report a foreign bank account, and 2 counts of bank fraud. One thing they didn't find in all of this is any Russian collusion, nor do they find any crimes committed by the President of the United States. All of these crimes are from 12 years ago. Okay? So I don't know if it's as bad a day for the President as that it's a very bad day for Michael Cohen and Paul Manafort. But I don't see why the Mueller investigation should go on any further, for there is, again, there's nothing there. That's the words of Peter Strzok, who struck out with the FBI. Anyway, let's get back to the earthquakes. Here's the situation. It is a significant, it is potentially catastrophic what has just happened in Venezuela, a 7.3 earthquake. I repeat, 7.3 earthquake rocks Venezuela. We have reports of buildings collapsing, an escalator collapsing in a shopping mall. Let me give you the report. The tsunami alert has been issued for the Caribbean islands after this 7.3 magnitude earthquake shakes Venezuela. The United States Geological Survey recorded the earthquake in the coastal towns, and the tremors were felt 286 miles away in the capital city of Caracas. The quake, which was centered near the town of Guerrera, was felt as far away as the capital of Caracas, causing buildings to be evacuated. But the U.S. Geological Survey says this magnitude 7.3 earthquake was about 123 kilometers deep. Its epicenter just 12 miles there northwest of the beaches. The population of the affected region lives in areas where structures are very vulnerable to earthquake shaking, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. The most vulnerable buildings are those made from unreinforced brick and wood. The tsunami advisory has been issued. I repeat, there is a tsunami advisory for the Caribbean islands. Footage which emerged on social media following the earthquake have showed buildings in Maturin being shaken heavily. People running into the streets. Sister Heidi's already seen some of this footage. It's pretty violent. And in Trinidad and Tobago, phone lines, power lines are out. There's the reports of structural damage of buildings. A witness in Cumana, which is near the epicenter, said there were initial reports of several injuries at a shopping center as an escalator collapsed. Firefighter Captain John Bonnet says that there's no initial reports of injuries in his location in the capital of Caracas, but that's quite a distance away. So it's Tobago, Trinidad, and the coast of Venezuela. Now, Heidi has just brought forth a report that, Heidi, this sounds so orchestrated to me, that the same day that Paul Manafort would be convicted of 8 counts, of 8 felonies, that Michael Cohen, the president's lawyer, would plead guilty to 8 counts. Doesn't it feel like, why was that happening at the exact same time?
Orchestrated.
It's orchestrated by the Illuminati. It's being orchestrated by somebody. I would guess it's the Illuminati. I mean, if you read their playbook, that's what they say they're going to do. It's called chaos, control from chaos. Meanwhile, earthquakes are shaking the world. We're living in the last days. I want to thank all 1,320 of you that showed up here live at YouTube for this unscheduled live broadcast and report. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We're in the end times. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're running out of time. Pray for the nations of Venezuela and Trinidad, Tobago, and Vanuatu. Are you serious?